we targeted an individual who barely ever wore clothes. He would run in front of buses. He would terrorize tourists. He would expose himself. The Guardian Ad Litem in that case, I think, had to run from him at one point. And I'm not saying that to dissuade people from being Guardians Ad Litem, but he was just like, this guy's too scary to even get on the same side of the street. And we went through the ACT process, and it was a real slog because it was one of our first cases, and we were getting challenged by all sorts of different entities. And but then we finally got the order, and we're like, hey, we got an order. And I think it was like a year later, we were doing, I call it walkabout, where I go out with the doctor and the outreach workers and whoever wants to tag along, and we kind of go check out how people are doing, whatever, yeah. And one morning, I remember they were like, hey, let's have a coffee, let's sit down here. And I sat down, and there was a guy that was sitting next to me having coffee also, and he was in a t-shirt, and his hair was well cut. He had a backpack on, and I thought he was just another guy having coffee, you know, and we were kind of sitting on Fort Street Mall, and our doctor said, do you know who that is? And I said, no, and it was that individual that we had got that order for, and he had recovered to a degree that he wasn't, you know, he was not going to run for mayor or, you know, be a world beater, but he was not trying to harm anybody, he wasn't harming himself, and he had a haircut, and he was moving on with life. And that one to me was just like, that's the reason that, you know, this work needs to be done.